I found a phone, buried in the woods. About a year ago, I was hiking alone in a forest near my town. It wasn't a huge national park, just a local woodland where people walked dogs and rode bikes. I'd been there many times before, but that day I noticed a narrow trail I had never seen. After about 20 minutes of walking, I spotted something sticking out of the dirt beside a fallen tree. It was an old smartphone. The screen was cracked, mud covered the edges, and it looked like it had been buried for months. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the better of me. At home, I cleaned it and plugged it into a charger. To my surprise, it turned on. The phone was almost completely empty. No contacts, no messages, no social media apps. The gallery was blank, except for one folder. Its name was Don't Look. Naturally, I opened it. Inside were hundreds of photos taken in the same forest where I'd found the phone. At first, they looked normal: trees, trails, rocks, clearings. But after scrolling through dozens of pictures, I noticed something strange. The same person appeared in almost every image. Sometimes the figure stood between trees, sometimes far away on a trail, sometimes only a shoulder or arm was visible. The figure was always watching the camera, dark clothes, tall, face impossible to see. As the photos became newer, the figure got closer. The photographer had clearly noticed it too. Many photos were zoomed in, others were blurry as if they had been taken while running. The final image made my stomach drop. It was taken at night. The figure stood only a few feet from the camera, close enough for details to be visible, but its face was completely black. The flash illuminated everything around it, yet somehow the face remained hidden. The oldest photos were 3 years old. The newest had been taken only 6 days before I found the phone. That meant the owner had probably been in the forest recently, maybe very recently. For the next week, I became obsessed with the images. Eventually, I noticed a pattern. The photos weren't random. Each one was taken deeper in the woods than the last. It looked as if the photographer had been following something or being led somewhere. Using landmarks from the pictures, I marked the locations on a map. They all pointed to a remote area far from any trail. Against my better judgment, I decided to go there. A few days later, I returned to the forest. The deeper I went, the quieter everything became. No birds, no insects, just silence. After nearly an hour of walking, I reached a clearing. In the center stood an old wooden cabin. The roof was damaged and several windows were broken. It looked abandoned. Still, something felt wrong. The front door was slightly open. Inside, the walls were covered with photographs, hundreds of them. Every photo showed people walking through the forest, families, hikers, cyclists, dog walkers, all photographed from a distance, all apparently without their knowledge. Then I noticed one picture near the center of the room. It showed me. I was standing beside the fallen tree where I'd found the phone. The photo had clearly been taken before I discovered it. Someone had been watching me. A cold feeling spread through my chest. I left immediately. The walk back felt endless. Several times I thought I heard footsteps behind me. Whenever I stopped walking, the sound stopped too. When I finally reached my car, I locked the doors and drove home. That night, I checked the phone one last time. A new photo had appeared. I know how impossible that sounds. But it wasn't there before. The image showed my house, taken from across the street. The timestamp said it had been captured less than an hour earlier. The next morning, I contacted the police. They searched the area I described. But when they reached the clearing, the cabin wasn't there. Not destroyed, not burned down, gone. There wasn't even evidence that a building had ever existed. The officers took the phone for examination. A week later, they returned it. According to their report, the device contained no photographs at all. The folder was empty. Every image had disappeared. I tried to forget about everything. Months passed. Then 3 nights ago, I woke up around 2 a.m. and looked out my bedroom window. A tall figure stood across the street, motionless, watching my house. By the time I reached the front door, it was gone. Yesterday, I turned on the phone again. A new folder had appeared. Inside was a single image, a photo of me sleeping in my bed, taken from inside my room.